We begin with the latest on the Farm Bill. Virginia farmers are making their voices heard, but time is running out for lawmakers to pass a new bill before the current one runs out. Farmers across Virginia and the rest of the country are hoping Congress can pass a new farm bill before the current one expires at the end of September. That prospect faces tough odds, given that Congress left Washington for the month-long August recess without a farm bill draft. Lawmakers spent some of this summer listening to farmers and other stakeholders about what they need from the Farm Bill.
A lot of our conversation has been what's working, what do we need to keep, what do we need to ensure continues to be available, and so an example there is crop insurance. You know, recognizing that sometimes things can be out of a farmer's total control, and so to ensure that in those bad years they're able to make ends meet, they're able to kind of be there and be ready to plant the next year.
Spanberger visited several farms in her North Central Virginia district in August, including the Camden Farm in Caroline County. The only Virginia lawmaker in the U.S. House or Senate who sits on an agriculture committee, she is hearing how farmers are coping with the heat wave and what Washington can do to help. Farmers like Robbie Carruthers in Caroline County have seen the effects of the long, hot summer.
You know, I think catastrophic insurance is more important now. We tend to see more bad storms. We tend to see more heat stress. We had 3 days this year with a heat index of about 107, and we were a little bit dry, but not horrible, and the crops pulled through it pretty good. But you know, looking at the news out in the Midwest, they had like 2 weeks of it, and it just toasted stuff. And you know, so the insurance end is almost as much as for catastrophic insurance for weather events now than it is for just a run-of-the-mill drought year.
The Farm Bill has long been viewed as a vital safety net for farmers, with crop insurance at the top of the list. But the bill also funds several programs with the Farm Service Agency that helps farmers, especially the next generation of farmers.
We have guaranteed loan programs that work really well to support young, beginning small farmers. We work closely with FSA with those programs. They help because they don't require as much of a down payment if someone's buying a farm. They have operating lines of credit that they offer guarantees for that have been really good for grain farmers just getting started.
Since the 1960s, part of the Farm Bill safety net has included funding for nutrition programs.
Nutrition's really important. You know, we're really proud, actually, the fact it's a rural value that neighbors help neighbors in need, and that's what the nutrition title does. Now, I will say, for those who want more money, the Farm Bill is $1.5 trillion over 10 years. $1.2 trillion is nutrition.
Thompson's remarks came during a Farm Bill listening event in Minnesota during the August recess, one of more than 50 that he's held over the past 2 years. Participation in the SNAP program is highest in rural communities. According to the Food Research and Action Center, 11.4% of metro households nationwide utilize the SNAP program, while in rural communities that number is 13.5%. In Virginia, the contrast is even more stark, with 7.2% of metro households using food stamps, while the number nearly doubles to 12.9% for rural households. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer is also from Minnesota. He warned farmers there is still a long road ahead for the legislation.
The whip's job is to make sure that when things are ready for the floor, that they can actually get across the floor. The Farm Bill is going to be a lift, there's no question.
With less than a month before current funding runs out, the Farm Bill also has to compete for lawmakers' attention at a time when the annual appropriations bills have to be approved, including USDA. There's also the specter of a government shutdown in October. A temporary solution could be to extend the current bill's funding until a new bill is passed, but there are no guarantees.
We've got about a month after you all come back before it expires. What are the chances?
We've had hearing after hearing as we're working towards producing a bill, and I remain optimistic that I think we might be a little bit delayed past the end of the fiscal year, at the end of September, but certainly by the end of the calendar year is a deadline that everyone is committed to reaching.
Some lawmakers want changes to the bill's nutrition programs before the new Farm Bill is passed. And that debate could also slow the bill's progress. The Senate will also write their own farm bill. If time runs short, whichever chamber ends up producing a bill first may have the most influence on the final legislation that goes to the president for his signature.
The rest of the farm bill story will take place here on Capitol Hill, as lawmakers from both the House and the Senate have until the end of September to get a new farm bill passed. In Washington, I'm Burke Moeller reporting.